Our last segment today comes from Forbes, written by Elena, and forgive the pronunciation, Rucheska, who says, "Can't decide what to order. Why the human brain struggles with plenty of choice." Doesn't sound like a gaming article, but we'll bring it home. Let me get into this here. In Western cultures, we often say we like to have choice. To a certain extent, that's true. We enjoy freedom, and choice makes us feel like we're in control of our decisions. But it's also overwhelming. How many times have you been stuck pondering what to order from a huge menu while the waiter and your dining companion looks on impatiently? Or what to buy for breakfast when faced with 30 different types of milk or 50 varieties of cereal in a supermarket? Choosing a saving plan to invest your money into, or selecting a school for your kids out of the vast array of options is an even harder task. Turns out there is a solid neurological reason for your indecision. Alongside colleagues from other universities, I've been looking into uncovering how human brains work when having to choose among an array of different options. In our research, which was recently published in Nature Human Behaviour, we found that although the human brain finds the concept of choice, or even an abundance of choice, attractive, too many options make it difficult for our brains to process, evaluate, and compare these choices. This phenomenon is called choice overload, and it explains why we often walk away from a well-stocked shop or supermarket empty-handed, or very stressed even if we have to manage to finally choose something. This is important as it means when we're given too many alternatives, people can delay decisions or experience negative emotions, and this has serious consequences. After all, while it might seem trivial deciding which ice cream flavour to pick, our choices affect many aspects of our lives, from our businesses and careers to our health and finances, to name just a few. For example, if you need to undergo non-urgent medical treatment and have to choose where to do it from a broad set of different hospitals, similar to NHS Choices website. NHS is the health service here in the UK. Faced with too many options, this decision could be put off, potentially putting your health at risk. In our research, we used MRI scanners to study people's brain activity when choosing from different sized sets of options. In this case, participants were asked to choose a scenic image to print on a mug, t-shirt, or other piece of merchandise from selections 6, 12, and 24 different images to choose from. We first found that activity in some brain areas reflects the costs of choosing, the cost being the energy spent choosing option A over option B. And this activity increases with the number of choices. That is, the more choice is more costly for the decision makers. Second, when making any kind of choice, the brain makes many calculations, weighing the potential rewards of making a good decision against the cost of having to choose from these options. As the amount of options increases, the reward of making a good choice increases. But so too does the cost involved in making any decision. There are more variables to consider and more trade-offs to make, taking more time and energy. We also discovered that for both sets of 6 and 24 image options, brain activity was lower than when people were given 12 options to choose from. This suggests that the brain's decision-making capabilities work optimally with an intermediate number of choices. In other words, more choice is better up to a certain point, after which choice becomes overwhelming and decision-making is impaired. That is, we find a biological proof of choice overload. Clearly, too few or too many choices generate less value for people than sets with an intermediate number of options, in this case 12, 6, 12, 24. These medium-sized sets have enough variety to satisfy our needs, but they are not too costly for our decision-making process. 12 is not a magical number though. An optimal number of choices for our brain depends on many factors such as context, personal characteristics of the decision maker, type of products we choose, and so on. Critically, if a preferred alternative is added to the choice set, For example, if you know that you crave your favourite dark chocolate ice cream that you enjoyed when you were a kid, and the ice cream store at which you stopped at carries it, the human brain is automatically able to handle more alternatives and not feel overwhelmed. This suggests that when confronted with too many options, decision making can be simplified. In a world of seemingly endless choice, any insights such as these that can help prove decision making are to be welcomed. So the next time a waiter is pressing you to make a decision, know that it's not you, there really is just too much choice to choose from. So that's coming over from Forbes there. 2 minutes please. Stay hydrated. Now that seems like it's got nothing to do with games, but again, this is a Game Pass centric episode, let's look at it through the lens of Game Pass. There are something like 200 games available to choose from Game Pass, and on PC about 100 to choose from. Now, there's a lot of people who will be coming to Xbox for the first time, like myself. I was PlayStation 4 last gen, Xbox this gen. I'll get a PS5 towards the end of this gen, and I'll catch up on all the PS5 games eventually. But for now, at this stage in life, Game Pass suits me, both in terms of finances and gameplay habit. Sorry for the long pause there. Let's just say you've just bought your Xbox. Or let's just say you've got an Xbox at the moment and you're really struggling to make a decision, as the Forbes article put it. I guess there's two ways you can go about it. I would say do this. And I suppose you could actually do this for Netflix as well, actually. I know I really struggle with kind of a Netflix paralysis when trying to decide what films to watch. There's just too many choice. First thing I did on my Xbox was I went to Game Pass and I went through and I added every single game to play later. Now at this point you're filtering out games. So let's just say, for example, you hate first person shooters. You can already tell by going through, just skipping all those and then adding it onto your play later list. That may about half, so maybe bringing it down to 100 games you want to play perhaps. Then from that point, what I would do is I would just pick, let's go with the Forbes example there, let's just pick 12. Pick 12, write down all the games, I'm sure there's probably an app for this, write down all the games, or stick names in the hat, and pull out 12 games. Just play those 12 games. Add the initial offset. Now, I don't think Game Pass games really get filtered out often. Now, what I do personally is I do check the leaving soon. Now, that's a way that Game Pass naturally brings down your choice and allows you to make more effective decisions. Every 2 weeks or so, usually 3, 4 or 5 games leave. So I will check that list, and if there's a few games there that I want to play, I will prioritise those games. And again, the choice has been filtered down for me. You know, if there's 5 games leaving and there's 3 I want to play, I'll go, okay, which one of these 3 do I definitely want to play? Which game would I be bereaved if I didn't get a chance to play? Then play that one. If you get time, then you pick the next one, and so on and so forth. I guess the point that we're trying to home in on this article here is that yes, there is so much choice on Xbox, Xbox Game Pass. Almost too much choice there, but it's all about critical thinking here. I mean, obviously all this stuff about neurological behaviour, it's not something we acknowledge. I don't look at something that's got 24 choices and go, oh gee, I wish there was only 12 here.